What's up everyone? Summer is officially here. School's out, allergy season is over. Some of us still have work, but that's okay. If I save up enough checks, I can finally afford to buy myself a jet ski. But until then, maybe I should get some practice riding the waves like it's 1996 again, in Wave Race 64 for the Nintendo 64. Released as a launch game for the N64, Wave Race is a sports racing game where you take a jet ski and race on the crashing waves against other athletes or against the clock. Like 1080 snowboarding, it's a sports simulator with a simple concept that's difficult to master. Wave Race came out of the gate setting the standard for 3D racing games on the, at the time, new system. Sure, the blocky character models and flat textures are very dated now, but the game's still very visually appealing with its vibrant summertime colors, decent for the time frame rate, and clear blue water with a lot of work put into the physics of it. And on Nintendo Switch Online, it has the added benefit of a more cleaned up look to cut down on the blurriness of the original version. Not much was put into the sound design, but it was just enough. The music is lighthearted and fast-paced for this family-friendly racer, the sound effects are right in between realistic and cartoony but never over the top, and the main voice acting comes from the announcer. The few lines the announcer does throw out there make you feel like you're in a real big league race, which adds to the fun. This game has you race across semi-realistic tracks where the water currents actually affect how well you steer. So a sudden wave could lift you up, or low tide could prevent you from exploiting a shortcut you used in the previous lap. Then not only are you avoiding obstacles like pillars and floating crates, but also trying to crash into other racers to throw them off. While there aren't a lot of tracks here, there are still really good tracks with more you can unlock by beating the championship at higher difficulties. What I didn't like though was that you had to be on the correct side of all these buoys along each track based on if they said right or left. This wouldn't be so bad if all it did was prevent you from reaching maximum speed, but if you miss 5 buoys, you automatically forfeit the race. It feels like an unnecessary challenge when it's tough enough to try to avoid obstacles and get past the other racers who will try to bump you off your jet ski on higher difficulties. On that note, controls for the jet skis are pretty good, especially if you customize the handling and engine to your liking, but too much in one direction for any of the 3 categories can lead to terrible controls, so it's largely on the player to find their perfect balance. Aside from the championship race, the game has a time trial mode, which is typical for racers. Also stunt mode for you to score points by showing off, much like any big budget water stunt show you've probably seen. Finally, there's 2-player versus mode, which is great as this is the kind of game that's perfect for multiplayer. But it's weird that there isn't any option for 4-player versus races, since there are 4 racers in single player, and the N64 was the first 4-player system out there. Of course it was a launch game, so maybe they didn't have time to make it 4-player compatible. But it's definitely something Nintendo should add if they ever make a modern sequel. Used cartridges for this game go for anywhere between $12 and $40, or you could just play the NSO version for free with a subscription. But if you don't have a subscription, look for a copy that's less than $20. Either way, this is a great quick game to play to get into the summer mood. Well, that's my review of Wave Race 64 for the Nintendo 64. To help me produce more videos like this, please support my Patreon page. Special thanks to my current patrons here. Remember that supporting my Patreon gets a name of the credits and access to my main videos a day early. Also be sure to watch my previous reviews of these other sports games on the N64, 1080 snowboarding and NFL Blitz. See you all next time!